Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Recently I did a product showcase video for the Pathfinder 2nd edition Bestiary 2. So talking about the book itself as well as some of the accessories that were spun off from it. And I had a lot of fun doing that video. I thought it was kind of cool to see the different things that release as a result of the book being out. And there's a couple of other books that I want to do that for as well. So today we're going to be doing that for the Pathfinder 2nd edition Gamemastery Guide. So the Gamemastery Guide is a book aimed at helping game masters, whether you're experienced or you're just new to running role-playing games. There's a ton of great advice in here as to how to like design your NPCs, certain things to keep in mind when doing that, running sessions, character creation sessions. There's a lot of great useful advice that this book offers. In addition to that, it gives you some options in terms of like optional rules that you can run, things like having stamina points, which are similar to what's done in the Starfinder role-playing game. So if you like that system with stamina points and hit points versus just hit points, then this book will have the way to do that, as well as a couple of optional features you can use that are like feats and different ways that you can affect things like the stamina points. That's just the one that I can really remember off the top of my head. But there's lots of great stuff like that in there, and then there's some new systems that you can add into your game for things like dealing with trying to infiltrate maybe an enemy organization, or running like a stealth mission type of thing, or running chases. So there's all kinds of great items in here. There's also a whole slew of NPCs, which is always great because it takes the pressure off of trying to create them yourself. There's even things like guidelines on creating your own creatures, and it gives you some numbers to work with, which you can also use to modify any of the NPCs or any of the creatures that you might have in the bestiary books that you want to maybe scale up or scale down. So a lot of great useful advice in this book. If you are someone that's running Pathfinder or interested in running Pathfinder 2nd edition, then this is a book that I highly, highly recommend. I've done a review for this book already, so if you want to see the full flip through, I did that previously. There'll be a playlist that you can click on at the end of this video that you should be able to find that video in there as well. And for all the products I'm going to be showing here that are related to this book, I've also done reviews for as well. So I'm not going to go into a lot of depth or detail, and I'm not going to like unbox things or go through all that because I have done that in the previous videos, but I will just sort of show what accessories and other things have spun off from this awesome book. So starting off with the actual hardcover book itself. So there were two versions of this book. There's the standard version, which is what you see here. And what's really cool is it's sort of a bit of a callback to the first edition Pathfinder Gamemastery Guide, where it has one of the Rune Lords, and they were like with a blue dragon on the cover. So this, I believe, is another one of the Rune Lords with a black dragon, which is just cool because I love black dragons in general. So it's just, nice little callback to the cover art from the previous edition. I always love seeing stuff like that. The special edition that you can also get is the contents of the book are all the exact same. So the pages and all the things in there are the exact same, but the cover is sort of designed to look like an old leather tome kind of thing. It's like a wine or burgundy color, and it has gold lettering. There's no artwork on the front or back, but there's like some border work around the covers or in the corners, and like the gold lettering on the covers, which is cool. It also has two built-in like fabric bookmarks that you can use, so they're always great for that. I don't have the special edition for the Gamemastery Guide, but the next video that I do in this series, I do have the special edition for, so I'll finally be able to show that off in that video. But for this one anyway, the regular version, the US retail price was $49.99, so $50 US. The Canadian price, I think, was around 60, 62, or 63, or something in that neighborhood, is what I recall, because this was a book that I actually purchased at the time when it first came out from my local game store. So I think that's around what I ended up paying for it, but definitely well worth it. So that's the book itself. The special edition, I don't know what the US retail price is off the top of my head, but the Canadian price is like $90. So it is a little bit more expensive, but if you like to have the fancier looking covers and stuff like that, then it is worth it if you're a diehard collector that way. All right, so the first product that we're going to take a look at that was released very shortly around, like very close to the release of the Game Mastery Guide book itself, we have the advanced Gamemaster screen. So we had the original Gamemaster screen that launched right around the same time that the core rulebook and everything launched. This came out very close, like I said, to the release of the Game Mastery Guide. And so this is an updated screen. There's some new information on there, which is derived from the Game Mastery Guide. I'm not going to go through and show everything that's in here, but I just want to show a really good example. So we have these charts here. You can see, like, for example, the creature numbers, GMG 56. So on page 56 of the Game Mastery Guide, you'll have information on, and this is what I talked about before, adjusting creatures or creating your own monsters or NPCs spontaneously if the players do something to force you to have to do that. It gives you everything that you need to run a quick and dirty creature of your own creation, or if you want, again, to adjust them. So again, awesome stuff to have there, and it's just a great chart to have for people that like to improvise, or game masters that are really comfortable with improvisation. Just gives you the numbers to work with. It's just fantastic. And they do the same thing with traps as well. So if you want to start integrating traps into your adventure, because maybe you have a character that could deal with them now and you didn't before, or the characters were just sort of breezing through everything, then you can improvise that stuff as well. So again, it's really, really awesome, useful stuff there. The retail price for this was $19.99 US, and it was around $25, I think, $26 Canadian. Canadian prices are going to vary. Obviously, different locations will charge different conversions. So, just take the Canadian price as an estimate, because I honestly can't remember. But the US retail prices are there, printed on the product, so it's a little bit easier for those. So $19.99 US. All right, up next we have the Pathfinder. So this is a card-based accessory, and this is for one of the subsystems introduced in the Game Mastery Guide. This is the Chase Cards deck. So there are 55 different cards in here for helping you run your chase scenes if you wanted to do that. And chase scenes are really cool. They're basically something to create a little bit of excitement. You're trying to either capture somebody or get away, or you've got two groups trying to reach something at the same time. So you have this like chase sequence that takes place. They're essentially sort of a skill challenge in that you have to use, and a lot of times you have to use different skills, and you have to be creative about how you want to use them. Generally speaking, you can't just have everyone make the exact same checks. You want to have at least a couple of different ways of tackling the different obstacles. And these cards are basically your ready-built obstacles that you can just draw. They're based on different locations. Like there's, I think, inside of a city, there's like a city wall deck, I think is one of them. And then there's like wilderness and some other locations along those lines. So it's just really, really easy to use these to run chases. You can either just draw the cards as they come, or when you're in your planning session, you can actually look at the different options presented in this deck and choose the ones that you like most and put them in the order that you want the players to sort of come across them. So it's just a really fantastic product. It's one of those quality of life things. I wouldn't consider this to be essential, but if you love the idea of running chases in your games, then this is something that's going to be just a blessing when it comes to helping you plan those out and to reduce the time it takes for preparation and stuff like that. So really, really awesome. The retail price for this was $14.99 US. I don't know if I can get it to... There we go, $14.99 US. The Canadian price was around $17 or $18, I think, but definitely well worth the money if you plan on using it. So definitely check those out. And speaking of cards, we have the NPC Battle Cards. So this was another product in like the Bestiary Battle Cards that we had from the Bestiary 1 and Bestiary 2. This is battle cards for all of the NPCs introduced into the Game Mastery Guide. So things like doctors, surgeons, cooks, bartenders, assassins, necromancers, bandits, guard captains, watch members. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. I think it gives you a number. Yeah, there's over 110 cards in here with different NPCs that you can encounter. Each of them has artwork on the outside of the card that you can use to show the player. Even if the art for the specific NPC wasn't in the Game Mastery Guide, the cards will still have something, which is great. They also have at least a few of the sort of the more typically used NPCs that you might come across, like bandits or things along those lines. They will actually have multiple versions of that same card for different ancestries. So instead of it just being like everything's defaulted to human, for example, you could come across a dwarven bandit or an elven bandit or halfling bandits. So it gives you some different options there, which is really, really cool. And they all have, again, they all have their artwork on the cards. The artwork is like similar. You can tell it's sort of like a Photoshop thing where they just, swap out the pieces for like the appropriate ancestry, but it's still just really cool that they have that. Just having those different options, it could be great because, instead of it just being a whole group of human bandits, now you could have, a sort of a mixed group with, dwarves, elves, whatever in there. So it's just really cool to see them do that. That's, again, one of those above and beyond things that Paizo tends to do with a lot of their accessories. And the cards are nice and big, so it's easy to show off the artwork. It's easy to read. They're just overall fantastic. And at $29.99 US, or I think it was around $39.99 Canadian, well worth the price. This is, again, one of those fantastic quality of life things because if you plan on using a lot of NPCs, especially ones that are in the book, you don't have to always worry about what page they're on or flipping back and forth. You can just, have the cards at the ready. It gives you the full stat blocks, which is just, again, awesome stuff. So these battle cards are, like I said, some of my all-time favorite accessories from Pathfinder 2nd Edition so far, and they've never failed to amaze me with the quality and, again, just the willingness to go above and beyond what they needed to sell the product. So awesome stuff there. Definitely check this out. And then finally, the last thing, I think it was the last thing that I showed in the Bestiary 2 one as well. So it's probably the format that this is going to take. So this is the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Gamemastery Guide Pocket Edition. So I've talked about pocket editions in several other videos. I absolutely love them. But this is something that is just recently released for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So with these are simply scaled down versions of the hardcover book. So all the contents inside are the exact same in terms of like the page layout, the artwork, the page numbers, everything. So if something's on page 56 of the hardcover book, it will be on page 56 of the pocket edition. Pocket editions, I still sort of maintain that for people that are beginning with the beginner box and looking to, build up their collection, based off of that, I think the pocket editions just make logical sense. I don't know why. It's probably just my twisted way of thinking of things, but I just think that the pocket editions go really great with the box set and with the beginner box or starter set. So I don't know. I just love them from that perspective. But they're also great because they are typically half price of the actual original hardcover. So where the hardcover was $49.99 or $50 US, this is $24.99 or $25 US. So again, it's half the price of the hardcover. So if you're looking to build your RPG collection, or you need, you want to add some stuff to help cope with, like difficult times, like, I've moved to trying to run more games during the pandemic to just take my mind off stuff. So if you're looking to add to your collection, but you have budget concerns and you only have a little bit that you can throw towards stuff like this, then these pocket editions are great for that. They're just great if you're budget oriented anyway, or if you have limited room available to store these books, because they are significantly smaller than the hardcovers in terms of how much room they take up. So for example, like there's the hardcover, and there's the pocket edition. So you can see there's quite a bit of extra space that you can save if you have the pocket editions. So I don't know. Again, I just love them, and I will always recommend them, unless because they are sort of scaled down, the print size is going to be smaller in these books than it would be in the hardcover. So if you have issues with eye strain or difficulty reading small print, or it gives you like headaches or stuff like that, then do not get the pocket editions. But if that's not a consideration, if that's not a concern, then these are just really great to have. And yeah, my plan is, at least at this point in time, is to try to collect every Pathfinder 2nd Edition pocket edition book that comes out, because again, I love these things so much. It's just a weird obsession, I guess. But again, I think they go great with the box sets. And I think they go great, if you have budget concerns or just space limitations, which I can definitely appreciate that at this point in time, because that's something I'm definitely running into. But anyway, that was my look at the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Gamemastery Guide and the different various products that were sort of spun off as a result of this book. Overall, it's a fantastic book. As I've said before, I think there's a lot of great stuff in there. There's some useful advice for beginning game masters, or even for veteran game masters to sort of touch base again with some of the fundamentals. There's great stuff in there for that. The optional rules are what they are. Some are more like suitable to what I would want to use in a game than others. But the new subsystems are fantastic and something that I do highly recommend using, like the victory points or infiltration points or stuff like that. Just an absolutely excellent series of systems to use in your games, and just again, great stuff. Paizo does really great work with their books and with their accessories, and all of these are definitely worth considering, especially if again you run chases a lot, or you like to improvise, or your players force you to improvise. So you might want the new screen as well as the book, or again just having the battle cards to cut down on your prep time or your time in game spent going from book to book to find the stat blocks that you need for your encounters. So just again, awesome stuff overall. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time to watch this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have the Game Mastery Guide, if you've used some of the different subsystems or some of the optional rules, if you have the hardcover, the collector's edition, or the pocket edition. If you've run chases in your games, let me know how some of those have gone, or if you use the battle cards or the GM screen. Overall, I just always love hearing everyone's feedback on how they've been able to interact with some of these products. It's always great to hear, and you guys always have such cool stories to tell. So again, just let me know that stuff in the comments. But again, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me, and I can't wait to do the next one of these, where I'll be taking a look at the Advanced Player's Guide. So that one is coming up probably in a couple of weeks from the time that I record this. But that one is one that I'm really looking forward to. So anyway, once again, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care.